Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 10. What's going on with you, Don? How was everything?
No, I just came back from Myrtle Beach to visit my pops. He had
Nice.
surgery on his thumb. So
Oh, shit.
just yeah, no, because he plays a lot of tennis. So when you're supposed to probably take a break when you're in pain. My dad loves tennis more than the pain. But the problem is if you don't respond or treat the pain, it just gets worse. And so my dad really messed up his thumb, kind of got like osteoarthritis. So yeah, he had surgery on it just to relieve the pain and just fix it all up. But how about you, dude? How was your weekend?
So many avenues are pulling for my attention at the same time.
Okay, that sounds good.
I've been hanging out a little bit with a couple people, but outside of that, I've been working so fucking hard, man. I have not been straying away from the promises that I have made. I just wish I had more time. And I don't want to say that I'm like the oldest motherfucker ever, but at this age, sleep is so necessary, bro. I am a different person when it's Gabe 8 hours of sleep and it's Gabe 5 hours of sleep. It's night and day almost. And I don't ever want to be the night. No disrespect to the night. I love the night. I don't know, man. I'm just so fucking tired.
When you say that you're like Gabe less than 8 hours, like what type of person is Gabe less than 8 hours? Is it just like little like crankier? Like, what exactly?
A little bit crankier. I'm not saying I'm pissed. I am 80% decrease in social activity. I don't want to say anything. I'm just really, I'm too tired to put my 2 cents in it. And if I do put my 2 cents in it because of just my will and my heart to do so, I'm going to be a prick. Even like my coworkers at my job were all like, damn, Gabe, like, what's up? I didn't question it until they said something. They're like, oh man, you must be having a really, really good day. It's not that I'm having a really, really good day. It's that I actually had 8 hours of sleep. And back in the day, I was burning both ends of the candle.
Dude, I remember when you're like pulling back to back all-nighters, basically.
I have to say, I have a feeling of pressure in my heart. I don't know how else to word it. I have a lot of pressure in order to fulfill the things that I want to get done sooner rather than later. Yesterday was my mother's birthday. She's 69 years old, right?
Happy birthday, Tita.
Shout out to her. She's a lovely lady. I like to give my effort and should try to understand how their life was. So, I mean, it was the perfect opportunity to ask them, like, she grew up in the Philippines. She worked in Iran for a couple of years as a nurse. She went back to the Philippines. She went to the States while pregnant and alone. My dad stayed in the Philippines. So I kind of wanted to, I know that story, but I want the details, I was asking like, around what age did you go to Iran? Because like, it's scary to go to another country and work. If I'm 18 and I'm going to another country to work, that's a totally different mindset than somebody who's 35. I wanted to get to know the details. I kept on asking her, like, at what age were you this? At what age did you come back to the Philippines? At what age did you actually conceive me and then fly to America? You know what I mean? On your own. Right. And all of the dates and all of the ages in which she said, I've already passed in my own life. It kind of gives me more oomph, a little bit more oomph to go like, holy fuck, dude. I don't want to have a child and then be old as fuck. Like I actually want to be able to have grandchildren and not be like a fucking raisin. I want to be able to play with my grandchildren, So I better fucking hop on this shit and get the stuff that we said that we need to do now. Because remember when we were 24? We said that we were running out of time when we were 24. Now we're 34, 35. What the fuck is going on, dude? Now it's like we're on borrowed time now. We're overdue. That's how I feel on myself. That's the type of life I like to have. And plus, you know me, man. I love pressure on me. That's when I do the greatest things. When I'm really, really comfortable, I don't really produce great results. It's like a weird love and hate relationship with the pressure.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I'm not even like majorly dissenting, but I do feel a little less pressure, but I still feel it. Case in point, my brother just had kid number 6, right? It's like, oh God, it's funny. Like my sister-in-law's probably listening to this. Anyway, but yeah, so I guess in my head, it's like, damn, I should probably have at least be in a serious relationship by now and get ready to like eventually have kids, right? It's definitely there too. when I think about it, we are older than when our parents first had us. I think back then, the pressure for stability, also they're coming to the States or like, they're leaving the Philippines, right? So a sense of stability, I think, was something that, was paramount back in their day. And so that translates again to career choices. And I'm not saying that they didn't necessarily choose a career that they wanted to, but there's a sense of practicality and pragmatism involved there that now in our age, we kind of have a little bit more opportunity to explore what we want to do career-wise or be able to do things that they couldn't necessarily do too. I think there is always a trade-off because when you get married so early, there's a certain sense of like maturity that you don't really get until you hit like your late 20s, early 30s. I'm just saying it for myself, right? But I don't think that if I were putting myself back in 24-year-old Don, I would not be prepared to handle a marriage or kids. I think only now do I feel like I have a sense of level-headedness and like confidence in myself that feels worthy to do so. Hindsight's 2020, right? We always think
Yes.
about like, oh, we you'll never know because technically the same Don back then would have the drive to try and figure it out, right? I am pressured though, because I did get invited to like a cousin's wedding next year and like she invited me to have like a +1 and then,
Let's
versus
go.
previous weddings where I was like kind of happy to go stag. I think this one in my head made a promise to myself that I want to take somebody. I think this is the
Bro,
first
come
time in
on.
a while where I was thinking to myself, damn, like, I hope I have a girlfriend by then. Like,
That's a
shit.
crazy thing to say out loud.
I know. Just I
For
got to get
real.
rid of like the self sabotage or anything, But
Diminishing
I
thoughts.
remember where I was at like a year ago and just hoping that like the writer's strike and the director's strike was going to end. I'd be able to find like something that would leapfrog myself from what was effectively a bad financial situation. A year later, I think it stabilized a bit. And so now I get to focus back on those things and catch up on the things that I feel like I've had to put off for a bit.
Gotcha.
Look forward for next year. Also, Marlo's coming in for about a week.
Your cousin
Yeah.
is coming here, is flying. When is he going to be here?
From January 4th to like the following Saturday. So
January 4th to Saturday. He's coming alone?
He's coming with like my tita. So like they're gonna
All right, cool.
my tita's gonna be here for 2 weeks and he's
His
gonna be
mom.
here for one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I thought he was going to bring Shorty Low. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. He needs a +1, bitch. Let's go.
he does have a +1 right now.
I know.
So,
Speaking about this whole thing,
mm-hmm.
I used all my PTO days on my regular job.
Okay.
And now I have this mentality that I cannot get off whenever I want to. Not that I want to. There's nothing for the rest of the year that would call me, unless it's an emergency, for me to leave work. But because I have no paid time off, that's a weird feeling. In my head, like I don't need it. I don't need to use it. And I know I'm going to get another once the year is over. But just the fact that I have lost this freedom has sparked me to just like, I cannot live like this. The end of next year is going to be, I used all my PTO again. Fuck that. I don't want that. I hate that feeling. It's like, I know this is going to sound so outlandish, but it's like an essence of modern day slavery. I don't like that.
Like out of curiosity, at your job, do you have a distinction between a sick day and a PTO day?
No, you just have 3 weeks in total for whenever you want, you're off. It's a little bit kind of sticky because month end for finance, you kind of have to be there towards the end of the month. It's not a deal breaker. I've definitely took a vacation during the end of the month, but it kind of gives you a little bit of restriction. I don't know. Somebody asked me like, oh, where did all your days go? Like, yeah, Colombia. Okay, that's one. Hawaii. That was from the year before. 2 weeks left. I used 2 weeks already scattered on fuckery. Really, that's what it was all about. Like your car breaks down and you don't want to have to deal with it. You take the day off. Fuck it. Take care of it. Right?
Ooh, okay. No, I get how you feel regarding that because at my old job, we had sick days, at least a week of like
vacation days.
Vacation days, but then we had another set of vacation days that rolled over. So you basically can accrue them continuously without any problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that was like a really sick thing because I always felt that like, I would never have to worry because I would never really use those days. But at the same time, I was such a workaholic back then and I kind of really, love working at that job. So I never really took advantage of any of the sick days, or like I'd use all my vacation days that I get a year, but the ones that I accrued, I'd never actually really tapped into.
Can you cash out?
I couldn't cash out like my sick days, but I could cash out all like my vacation days
Fine.
that I had accrued
Fine.
pretty much.
Yeah.
If you play it right, you can practically have like 3 weeks to a month off. But I get the feeling where I only have one PTO day like left.
You only have one
So-
left, dude. If you fucking use that, you cannot miss work again, bitch.
Well, you
Don't you
could.
hate that? You
But,
could if it's
yeah.
an emergency, yes.
If it's an emergency, but it's a very shitty feeling where I feel like tethered to the machine. I
I was about to
cannot-
say, I feel trapped.
I guess that's being part of like, the workforce, right? Is being a slave to the machine. And well, the alternative is to be like your own boss, which I guess at some point it'd be nice to be able to do so. But I mean, there's always trade-offs to it because I feel like those schedules tend to be a little unorthodox. But yeah, it does suck when you're part of again the 9 to 5, and again, you don't really have like the opportunity to kind of just take a mental health day. It would be nice. A mental health day would be great every so often,
Mm.
But I mean, you get your federal holidays off though, right? So those
Yeah,
still
yeah.
kind of
Still do.
yeah.
And
I know,
I get Columbus Day off as well because we're an Italian company. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't get Columbus Day.
See, that's the hard part where like for me, we don't really get those federal holidays off because we are retail. So Memorial Day is July 4th, those are prime days for like people to buy things, right? Unfortunately, I don't get those days off, but I get it because I just came out of like in a week and a half like vacation, and I only have technically 2 vacation days off for the rest of the year, which is Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mm.
It would be nice to be able to have like a little bit more slack.
I gotcha. Dude, have you been watching TV?
Well, I watched some stuff at my dad's place recently, but I like some action movies with Kate Beckinsale called Canary Black.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
On
it's
Netflix or what?
on Netflix.
Hulu?
On Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. Or is it Amazon Prime? One of those.
One of them shits.
Yeah.
I don't really watch too much like Netflix streaming, or I don't really fuck around there unless I'm in a relationship. But I decided that, let me put something on. Let me put not a series. Let me just put a documentary on. Maybe it'll be crazy. And I put on the documentary on Netflix. I think it's within top 10 right now. It's called Sweet Bobby. And I implore you to watch it. It's so good. It's pretty
Sweet
much
Bobby.
a documentary surrounding this catfishing thing, right? And I know that we were just talking about like, you were feeling older and +1. And it's about a girl, right? And, don't quote me, but she's around 30, 35, right? And she was in a long time relationship with someone before. And she was having a long distance relationship with somebody who ended up, you obviously know it's a catfish.
Right.
I was sitting there thinking to myself, why is this is not a documentary on the catfish trying to manipulate this poor lady. This is a documentary on how stupid you could be being in a relationship, a quote unquote relationship with somebody, long distance relationship with somebody for years, 6 years plus, and never see them, and how you could still be stuck on there. When she got out of her long distance relationship with her previous person, everyone was like bigging her up that like, all right, that's going to be the one. That's going to be the one. That's going to be the one you marry. She felt pressure into making it work with this ghost of a person, this fake-o person she's never met, because she didn't want to let down her parents. Even if it was chaotic and manipulative, if there was even 1% of a chance that it could work out, she was going to stay.
Damn, the pressure of staying in a relationship because you don't want to let someone down because you haven't gotten to that portion of your life. Yeah, like again, you could be successful.
I completely understand.
You can be successful in so many ways, and yet, our world today measures you still by whether or not you have a significant other at a certain point, right? I guess that's like, milestones in your career, but that's like a huge crux of it. I think that's part of like your identity as a human being, right? So, damn, that's pretty deep. I feel for her.
She's also putting pressure on herself that as years and years go by, the dream of having a child and birthing life
That's a valid
goes
concern.
away. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, I guess I wonder, how do you, like, I mean, knock on wood, God, I mean, how do you go on for so long without wanting, like, physically meeting somebody for years? That just, to me,
That's what I'm saying.
starved of physical affection. That it's just like,
If we're like 2 months in and I am giving you voice notes, I'm giving you videos, and for whatever reason, your camera on your phone doesn't work in this day and age,
yeah,
you're gone. Hell no.
yeah.
You wouldn't even survive. We wouldn't even go past 2 weeks.
You're just basically like a robot at this point, right? Like,
Yeah.
if we were back in like 2011, 2012, the MTV catfish was around, like, okay, that makes sense. But I think in 2024, we're just so on our phones that our social media identity is so tied in with us that if we have zero presence, we don't exist. I'm assuming that she's talking to this guy via like social media or like apps, like anything, like
Facebook.
Messenger, Facebook,
Yeah.
any of those, right? So again, you could still look and creep on people's profiles, right? So you kind of get a grasp of like, oh, is this person like a family guy, right? Is this person like pets? Does this person work hard? Like, this is why everything's so curated, right? It is like a vain reflection of who you are as a human being, but you want to show at least that you are as normal as they come. To just not have anything at all just seems completely outlandish to me. Like, I don't think I would believe it, and not to say that, I need to see everything visually, but in the case of where you're meeting someone online, yeah, of course, that's a stepping stone versus like, I guess, yeah, catfishing only exists because of social media. But like, I guess if we're thinking about like dating without social media, then it'd be very difficult to catfish someone, right? Unless you send letters via a bottle, right? Or leaving voicemails or something. But even then, it'd be a little hard for you to like mask your voice too. But
You say voice. I remember seeing an episode on MTV's Catfish where I think the catfish was a black guy posing to be a woman. Neve or whatever his name is, the host was
Neve,
like,
yeah,
yo, how do you do that voice? Because he was sending voice notes and he could turn it off and on. It was crazy. It's nuts.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, again, people can change. Like, you think about voice actors and their ability to change their pitch and their tone is incredible. So it makes perfect sense because voice actors, especially the prolific ones, can play like 50 different characters and you wouldn't even be able to tell them fully. Like, some of them have such good impersonations of like other actors that, yeah, you'd almost believe that these were them. And they actually do replace, like in movies, what they call ADR, or automated dialogue recording, or replacement. If, let's say, Christopher Walken didn't say a line completely because it was a little mumbled, and we can't get him because he's like busy.
Oh,
on
they
another
get
film shoot.
some guy to.
They get some guy who literally has the exact same vocal inflections and have him fill in for that role. And it's happened more times than none, like
That's
a lot,
crazy.
actually. So that doesn't surprise me. Again, like, voices don't. But again, this day and age, I just don't think, I think it'd be for me like exceptionally difficult to have such a long term and long distance relationship without actually meeting the person. I don't know about you, but like, what to you is like chemistry? Like, what helps you define that, oh, me and this person have like genuine chemistry? Like, we actually get along. Like, and I feel talking over the phone is one thing. Like, I can hear people's voices on Discord all the time. It's always amiable, right? What do you feel like is something that helps you with, or like is chemistry to you?
Let me take my time in this. My answer has changed after watching Sweet Bobby.
Can I hear Gabe before and after Sweet Bobby?
Gabe before was like, if you had me as a friend and you told me what the hell was going on, I would tell you within 2 seconds, this is bullshit. You need to block this person. If you have tried multiple times to meet up with them and they have backed out mysteriously, it's a no-go. Sorry, baby. That's it. It's done. But after, I have a little bit more sympathy because catfishing really only works on people who are desperate. And I know desperate is kind of like, that's a fucked up word to say about somebody. Oh, this guy is desperate. It's kind of sad, really, at the end of the day. Like they have no other option, or they believe that they have no other option. I'll give a good example. I was talking to this girl for a good minute, and a lot of our time, I would say 70% of our time, was through text. Okay? She was real. I met her in person. She was real. But I will say that a lot of the feelings that I developed for her was through text messaging. A lot of the brownie points that she got from me was her text game and making me feel however I felt through the messages. How fucking amazing is it, Don, right? You have a budding relationship with somebody. You meet somebody one time, exchange numbers. It's going well. You're talking, you're texting on the phone, whatnot. And then you get a good morning text. Bro, you know that feeling. When you get a good morning text from the girl that you're interested in, you know it's on. For lack of a better phrase, I fell in love with this person through the texting. If you were to ask me like, did I love this person? No, relax there. But I fell for her because of what she did through text. It's definitely possible. I feel bad for anyone going through it. I have a friend who was kind of going through it. Real person, not a catfish, but somebody who was playing with her emotions for the longest time. And I'm like, dude, this guy, who is a real person, okay? It's not like he's a catfish, has tried multiple times to meet up with them with a rando excuse for it to go haywire last minute the day of. No, you cannot allow yourself and be open to that type of damage. Like, you really have to stop yourself. And I'm telling you, it took so fucking long for her to let go. For me on the outside, there is no mist in front of me. I could see clear what this is. But she's actually in the thick of it. It's almost like, I want to shake this person. Like, you need to get out of this bullshit spell that you're under, that he's putting you under, because it's manipulative. It's bad.
Yeah, you can have chemistry with someone that you message online and vice versa. I mean, yeah, pen pals exist. I mean, this is not a foreign story by any means. Like, let's use an example that's kind of dated, but I feel like it's a good reflection of it. It's You've Got Mail. Again, these two people who are like pen pals, but they actually meet in real life, and have genuine chemistry, but also don't know that they're actually each other's pen pals online. And they end up they're kind of like enemies because Tom Hanks is like, the owner of like that universe's Barnes and Nobles. And they're like taking over like the small town, bookstores that exist in New York City. They have this like real life tension. And then outside of it, they're just messaging each other and just talking about each other's stories, but also kind of leaving enough information out to not be specific, but still have a genuine empathy and, sympathy for each other's like, day-to-day life and what they're going through. So of course that can exist, right? I just think at some point, the question always comes down to like, when are we going to meet?
Oh, of course.
They can meet, they can hold off for like 6 months, a year. There's always an excuse for it, and for what it's worth, I get it, especially if some people are working in like business deals overseas, right? But I do feel that my conversation with people, I can keep up with anybody for the most part. I mean, at least knock on wood, I feel like I'm confident in my ability to speak in any form, right? But what I feel as like me now surpassing the level of my genuine openness into something that feels more like, hey, you're someone who I could tell you a little bit more about like my fears, right? My aspirations, things that I don't really just talk around with people and bullshit. I think for me that I'd feel like I'd have to really see the person and see how they react to things. And then I might have a better gauge as to what they are.
Of course. Of course.
I played enough MMORPGs to be like, oh, damn, kind of missed that friend of mine who I feel like I was really sharing like this whole experience with, right?
Yeah.
So, but damn, this sounds like a crazy movie.
You need to watch it, man. It's really, really good. It's really good, I have to say.
I mean, when you're saying like desperate, and I don't even mean it as like necessarily a bad way, because again, I think especially now, like there is like 50% divorce rate, and people are trying to like find love, and in today's dating pool it just seems to be totally like total crapshoot. And I think that's for everybody, right? I don't think there's necessarily anyone to blame. I just think that it's our standards have either gotten too high, or the way that we're going about it just seems to make it so difficult. Trying to figure out how to get back to a sense of simplicity, or maybe just a sense of like, patience within ourselves, right? To like sometimes see things out. But yeah, social media always wants things like this. That does add like a huge layer of pressure. And again, I feel it too. Like I understand what it means to want to be at a certain place in your life, like socially, and feel like I'm not quite there yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, it will happen in time. I believe as long as we keep on at it and we actually are serious about making changes, then every goal can be attained. And I believe, I hope that you and I attain our respective goals for 2025, or sooner, maybe sooner. We'll see how the year. It's not 2024 is not over yet. So, we're still here.
I know we have to cut it a little short. We've been very, very busy. I got to do certain things today. But what do you have looking forward to for the rest of the week, dude? What's up?
We also have dinners, like I think the groomsmen dinner on Friday.
We have a groomsmen dinner on Friday. The groomsmen dinner, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we are both groomsmen for this close friend of ours. There's just too many people in this chat. You ever have a chat room where you're just like, I'm fucking done with this. Just give me the details, dude.
Oh, you felt that too? Oh my God,
bro, they're talking about mad stupid shit. I don't care.
I felt the same way too. I was like,
no disrespect to them.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
just
oh my
saying.
God, we're totally gonna get shat on, like in the chat. But
no, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I thought the exact same thing. I'm glad you and I
we shared the sentiment.
We shared the same sentiment.
Yes,
it's like
we did.
Damn, like guys, what the fuck?
Yes.
But
of course,
yeah.
Thanks for reminding me of that. For real, I don't even have that logged in my brain. That's another thing pulling my attention, bro.
We are, trust me, like when I say that, like I'm sometimes bad at answering at the moment if I have plans. And so I deliberately say, I don't know, because I have to have a calendar because unfortunately or fortunately, yeah, there's a lot of things. And so it's like, not that I don't want to spend time with people, but I also think of like, oh crap, like I need to actually fit things out and schedule. And like, there have been times where I've tried to do it all and it ends up being like a hot mess. So yeah, it's got to keep together.